Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Wherever this video may find you, I hope that it finds you in great spirits. I am Honest Am, the host of this here Dear Showrunners YouTube channel, where we talk about everything TV, movie, and even books related. And today I want to talk to you guys about this book. Audrey and Bash are just friends, a Tia Williams classic. Tia, you may as well just be like DJ Khaled. One and another one. This book is birthed from this book. So if you read 7 Days of June, the main character Audra of this book may seem very, very familiar. I read this book about 3 weeks ago, but it is something about this book that I just cannot stop thinking about. When I finished reading it, I literally had tears coming down my face. This book talks about perfectionism, and it talks about like kids who grow up way too fast. It talks about kids who are parentalized. I'll go into like some of my spoilers, but just for people who have not read this book, maybe you just ran across this video because you're wondering, hey, is this something that I should pick up? If you are somebody who have a overprotective parent, or you are somebody who is an overachiever, somebody who's a perfectionist, somebody who is constantly pushing yourself to be the best, this is a book that you need to read. Even if it's definitely a YA book, but I feel like adults can read this book and have a inner child healing, and I'll explain that in our spoiler section of the review. But for our non-spoilers, I would say that this book follows Bash and Audra, who are two young kids that are I want to say Audra is entering her 12th grade year. Bash just graduated, but they're two very high achieving kids who had certain things happen in their life to make them have this kind of unexpected summer together. And so the book is kind of centered around Audra being challenged by her best friend to do like these 5 things to like actually live life instead of just therapizing. I also love this book so much because I know so many kids like this who looks at their friends and they feel like, oh my God, I will never be in love, or love can't make you do all that. And then she actually gets to experience that, and she comes to know what her friends are feeling and experiencing. And so if you are wondering just really quickly if you should read this book, yes, yes, yes. If I had to give this a scale on a 1 to 5 scale, I would give this a 4.5. Actually, I'll just give it a 5. I would give it a 4.5, because there's just like some chapters we get into like some of her best friend. We get to understand her best friend, and her backstory as well. Didn't necessarily love that flow, but it was just still an overall good book. So if you need a nice, easy read that can potentially heal your inner child, check this book out. All right, spoiler section. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First of all, the thing that I love most about this book is that Bash was so adorable, but because of their ages and because I'm a grown ass woman, I never looked at him like, "Ooh, he's so fine." But I was just like, I would really want my kid to like be like Bash, because the thing about Bash is like he's just this overly nice guy, and he's always doing things to help people or to make people feel more comfortable. And young girls, they look at that as though he's being flirtatious, or as though this is him hitting on them, or really it's just him being a good person. We also learn throughout the book is that Bash was this all-star track athlete, and his dad caught him doing something with a guy and just completely disowned him. So I love the sexual fluidity of Bash. Like it's just I just everything about Bash, I love him, and he is just like the cutest little kid ever. And then I love Audra because she's kind of like me, a little bit of an A personality, somebody who is just always trying to do stuff by the book, do things, to get being a planner, thinking that you can have life exactly how you want it. She had this plan of spending her summer in California and getting away from her mom and this in her new life. And then she was kind of forced to stay home and forced to reevaluate her summer and deal with her plans not working out the way that she wants. And this took her on this journey of discovering new sides of herself. Her and Bash doing this challenge. They only had like challenge, 5 things that she had to do. I thought that it was really cute, very simple, but it also helped the book move along. Some of those things was try a new physical activity, buy a dildo, stay out at a party past 10, because she's a good girl, so she's always leaving early, hook up with somebody you actually like. I absolutely love that. And then face a major fear. Like the way that she did that last challenge, like, I could legit cry, and I think why this book is sticking with me and why I love it so much is because after, her and Bash, she finally realized that she do like Bash, and they have, like, this cute oh my god. They have this, like, cute little moment in the tattoo shop, AKA in the back of his mama's store, but the reason why I got so emotional is because her mom actually apologizes to her, and her mom says, like, "Oh, I I looked at you and I saw me and I saw my past and I saw all the stuff that I've been through." I also love this book because as much as Audra comes from like this really privileged background. She actually ends up learning like her mom lied to her, and she ends up learning like all these things about her mom. And the reason why I love that so much is because that is such a black person story. Like our parents like to just be our parents and they think that they're helping us because they're like, I'm your parent, I'm strict, but it's like they take away their relatability kind of. And so I just loved how this book ended with her mom not only punishing her, but then like stepping back and realizing like, you know what, I was wrong. You're a good kid. You have done nothing but tried to be the best kid that you can be, and I fucked up. And I think like I cried so hard and it stuck with me so much is because I think that's all we want from our parents. Like I have been on my healing journey, and I guess it's like life at this point because it just don't ever end. But I've been like intentionally on my healing journey for like the last 10 to 15 years. And a big part of that was me having this reckoning, this come to Jesus moment with my parents. And I wrote my dad a letter. I had a really deep conversation with my mom. And my mom was like, "You remember stuff how you want to remember it." And my dad was just like, "Well, I don't tell my emotions. I don't do all this stuff, but I'll try." And so it took me actually I did shrooms and I had like this big ass breakthrough where I just realized like my parents did the best that they could do ultimately at the end of the day. And that even though I'm mad at them more so because of me having these realizations, of me having this healing, it was all internal. And it was basically like I was looking at my parents like heal, grow, change because I'm healing, growing, and changing. And I had to like remember that they're just humans at the end of the day. They are just living their own life. And I can't expect for them to change and have this big come to Jesus moment just because I am on a healing journey, right? Like that is my personal journey. These are my personal feelings to reconcile. I can't then turn around and be mad at them because they're not changing. It took me like really taking them shrooms, and I know people think shrooms are like, oh, you're gonna just trip, you're gonna be high. No, for me, shrooms are just very healing. I like to microdose them. But this night I wasn't microdosing. This was just it was just a real shroom trip. And I just realized like they're just doing the best that they could. They're their own people, and I can't judge them or be mad at them or try to hold them to a new standard because I'm changing, because I'm growing. And so I really had to just accept them for who they are and know that they did the best they could do. But I think this book was so healing and I was so moved by it because all I want is a fucking apology. Like, all I want is just to be like, you know what? You're right. I could have did better. You know what? You're right. I did that. Like that's that's at the end of the day, that's all your kids want. And I love that Audra was able to get that. I absolutely love the ending of this book. I love how they were able to finish their goals. They were able to accomplish exactly what they want while still being true to the relationship, still nurturing the little thing that they had. I love that when her mom said she couldn't talk to Bash, she actually stopped talking to him because she is a good girl. And that is how good girls are. Because at the end of the day, all we want is our parents' respect. All we want is our parents' approval. And so I just love that at the end of the day, Audrey was not punished for honoring her mom, but she actually ended up like, she ended up finishing her book and getting the man at the end. So like, I love this book so much, so much. So much. I actually love this book more than I love this book, which that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, like I really love this book a lot. I would love for this to get turned into like a TV show, which I think 7 Days in June is getting turned into a TV show. So there's a high probability this will also get turned into it. I just hope they do it right. Maybe put it in the hands of Mariah Brockett-Kiel, even though I know we cannot do that. That's not how it works. But if Mariah Brockett-Kiel could get her hands on this and do the forever treatment, like this will be an instant classic. Dear Tia, I just want to just Thank you so much for just being you. First of all, girl, there were so many times in this book where I just literally cracked up laughing. You are a comedian. You are a comedy writer at heart. We know who you are. I see you. But just thank you for this book, this nice, wholesome journey that was not always wholesome. But thanks for this reminder that sometimes what we hear about people are not necessarily true, and that sometimes all it takes is just for us to have a conversation and to actually get to know the person, to see them beyond the surface and all the things that we think they're perceiving to be. Thank you for creating this book for little Black girls, and honestly for myself to know that all of our perfectionism ways, we don't have to hold so much, we don't have to carry so much, and that sometimes instead of trying to strive and be the best and do Black girl magic, it's just important for us to be a fucking kid. I think as an adult, I had so much animosity towards my parents because I feel like I didn't get that chance to be a kid. I didn't get that chance to just make mistakes and be silly and forget my phone. And I love that even though Audrey got in trouble for it, that she ultimately got to experience things and she got to learn sooner rather than later that it's important for you to live a life and not just create a life. So thank you for this beautiful book. I love it. I really did not expect to love it so much. I didn't expect to cry as hard as I did, but I'm glad I did because I really truly feel like my inner child was healed by reading Audra's story. So thank you, Tia, for creating this masterpiece. And as always, you are always going to be somebody that I am looking for, literally. Literary as well as on my timeline, because girl, you are the best. So thank you, Tia. And I got the chance to tell you at the Brooklyn Book Fest, but I will tell you again that you are a part of the reason why I got back into writing and why I chose to believe that this path could be for me. So thank you for all that you do. You probably don't even remember me, but I'm the one who tweeted, I wish these two would just fuck when I watched The Perfect Fine. You were the first book that I read since I was a kid that I just could not put down. I read Perfect Fine in a day, like in a day and a half. Like I literally just spent the whole day reading, and I haven't done that in so long. So you will always have a special place in my heart. I hope that you are writing well, and I cannot wait to read The Perfect Connection. Talk to you soon. Love you, Tia. We love you so much. All right, y'all. That is it. That's all I have for this video. Let me know, did you read Audra and Bash? Did it connect to you as much as you did, as much as it hit me? Did you cry at the end? Am I tripping? Am I overly sensitive? Comment all down below, and I will be back for another video. Bye.